What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rahul Reddy, and you might know me from being Rahul Reddy. And today we're going to go through another post-rotation deck profile video and possibly some gameplay. Today's deck is a little bit unorthodox. It's one of those few decks that I figured could be really okay over the course of time, but I didn't know whether or not it would stand the test of, rotation, etc., etc. Toxtricity VMAX is the deck we're going to look at, paired with Garbodor, some stadiums, some really fun cards, and Lightning type maybe could do something okay. So here is the deck. We have Toxtricity VMAX, which has GMAX RIOT, 160 plus 80 if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. So that's a good amount of damage, knocking out things like Suicune, setting up 2-shots, etc., etc. Now, to get this guy up, we've got our Garbodor, which does Poisonous Puddle. Once during your turn, if a stadium is in play, you may leave your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned. And now in this post-rotation format, almost every deck plays stadiums. Almost every deck plays, like, cards that don't really bump stadiums, so there's almost always going to be a stadium card in play. That was kind of the inspiration behind it. And the baby guy also does a lot of damage. Electric Riot, 90 plus 90 if it is poisoned. So including having the poison, we can go for a 3-2-3 prize strategy as well. And then if you forgot about our old friend Boltund, he's got that Electrify ability, letting us go second, accelerate onto the board. We still want to go first, so we have an ability to kind of set up the board. But if we do end up going second, Electrify is very, very strong, and Bolt Storm can come in and do a lot of damage if we need it to. Now, beyond that, we have our supporting staff, our 1 Kricketune, our 1 Eldegoss, as well as our 2 Crobat V. Now, we also have 2 Evolution Incense, 4 copies of Great Ball. I've actually really been loving Great Ball since I realized it's still in the format. It is probably one of the better search cards until we eventually do get Ultra Ball, if it is a reprint, because I know that there's been like reprints confirmed or whatever. 4 copies of Quick Ball, 3 copies of Switch, 1 copy of Scrapper. I think Scrapper needs to be starting to get included in decks because of all these big basic decks like Zacian and Teleon. One of my more popular videos, you can probably click on the link right here to watch that video and see why that deck is so strong. 4 Rose Tower, 3 Boss's Orders, 3 Marnies, 4 Research, 2 Rose. Now, Rose is also really good to just get our Toxtricity up and running in 1 turn. 2 Air Balloon, 3 Speed Energy, as well as our 9 Lightning Energies. Now, this deck is very straightforward. I don't think there's too much gimmicks with it, but let's see how it fares on ladder. Now, it does have a really, really bad matchup into Urshifu, which is probably why this deck is not going to be tier 1 ever. Also, if you guys are enjoying the content, you came to grab the list and here to watch the gameplay, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get personalized notifications, like and comment below. It really helps me out. The support has been overwhelming recently, and I am very, very happy to be doing what I'm doing here. So thank you guys so much. Now, by saying that, let's get into the game and win it, probably. Like I said, Urshifu is a really, really bad matchup. Across the board, I think that matchup is probably one of our worst, if not the worst. But I think a lot of decks have a bad Urshifu matchup in post-rotation. So the question is Urshifu really a bad matchup, or is there something we are missing? Like, is there something we're clinically missing in terms of, like, is Urshifu really that big of a gatekeeper? Is Urshifu really something that we need to deal with? Now, this start is pretty ideal if we hit an energy here. We didn't. We can even Great Ball here, I guess, just try to find a second Toxtricity. We got one. The rest of this hand's pretty good. I can go ahead and Garbodor next turn, try to find a stadium. Corviknight is really annoying, actually, because Corviknight says they cannot be affected by effects. So that just genuinely means that, well, my Garbodor is going to be useless. So this might be a very bad matchup that we are finding ourselves placed into in our first game. But especially because our opponent is probably playing the pre-rotation Bronzors and stuff like that. I know, like, it's difficult to find a good game right now on ladder because post-rotation has not happened yet, but we are only 4 days away, guys. We are almost there. I can almost taste it. All these, yeah, see, like, Chaotic Swell still exists, but that wouldn't normally exist in the post-rotation format. We are so close. I can almost taste the rotation happening, all these tag teams leaving the format, cards like Chaotic Swell going away. I could not be more excited. I just can't tell you guys how excited I am to see those cards go. As much as I was happy to see them be here and, like, make a lot of impact on the game, and I benefited greatly off them, off of, being a competitive player, it's definitely a good time to see them go. Quick balling away. A quick ball. This man is going down to a 0-card hand. Gonna probably Crobat here. Yep, he's got the evolutionary advantage here. Now, this card also would not exist in the post-rotation format because this is a team-up card. So if you're up against a Bronzong deck in post-rotation, you never have to worry about a turn 2 Bronzong. That's not an actual, or like a turn 1 Bronzong, sorry. That's never an actual thing. So now we'll go ahead and give him this Crobat because that's the least impactful card that we could give him. And we can also even switch out Now, the Zacian, leaving the Zacian in the active spot with the Intrepid Sword might have actually been a mistake on on my opponent's part, because I can actually get a free poison off. So we'll go ahead and do this. Our hand is pretty okay, actually. We'll just go ahead and Marnie. I maybe should have Quick Ball to reset, but I think the hand that I had put away was not actually that amazing, all things considered. Now, I actually can't get rid of the Swell if I want to poison. So we want to do this. We want to go ahead and poison, get that tick off. And then we can bump the Swell. In this situation, now I do want to have Rose Tower into play because that is a very important card at getting, you know, my attacks up and running. And GMAX Riot would actually one-shot Zacian, for example, with the Stadium in play. So I actually can win the game still. It's very difficult if the Corviknight VMAX comes online because I presume he's playing a lot of healing cards like Mallow and Lana, Cheryl, etc. Mallow and Lana will not actually exist. Let's double read Corviknight. Yeah, I can't do anything to this ability. I cannot do anything to the ability, which really, really sucks. But also, while we're waiting for our opponent to make a play... Wait, they conceded. Lol, that actual matchup is actually so bad for me, and I somehow won. Well, that's crazy. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. One more time, baby. In the meantime, while you guys are waiting, if you guys have any suggestions for me content-wise, leave them in the comments below once COVID kind of tides over a little bit and I travel a little bit more. I want to be doing some tabletop gameplay. I want to be doing some history of the game, a lot of these fun stuff. I want to be doing videos where I talk about like the battle decks, the theme decks that you guys can buy, the individual products, and how you can upgrade that to a competitive level. I know some other content creators do as well, but I don't want to, like, you know, harp on theirs. I want to do my own iteration of it because I think it's a very important, knowledgeable subject to have out there. Yeah, just simple as that. Now, we don't have a Great Ball. We don't have a Quick Ball. We don't have a Toxtricity. This is actually a really scary hand to be looking into because we don't have that many playable cards. And we're up against Blissey, which could... It doesn't one-shot us, I guess. Can I thin enough? I can go attach here. Boom, boom. No, I'm one card short of actually being able to play. So we're still going to do this. And we're going to go ahead and pass. Which is really unfortunate because I am in a really scary spot now. So Blissful Blast, and we do get donked. Well, we got two weird games in play, so let's get a third, I guess. See how that goes for us. That hand was a prime example of somehow how the post-rotation stage 1 decks do clunk. I have had a lot of hands like that with decks like even Shadow Rider and Urshifu. It's just simply how post-rotation goes when you no longer have cards like Dedenne, and like Tag Call and all these like more consistency cards that we used to have. So it's going to be something interesting to get used to as a player. So if you guys haven't played any post-rotation yet, I would highly suggest like getting used to it a little bit because it is a little bit of a different format and it feels different. It feels different for sure. Now, this is a good start. If I can go Great Ball into a Boltund, for example, and switch into that guy, that would probably be the super ideal turn 1. Oh, my opponent's also playing a Boltund deck, but this is a Flaffy deck. Judging by the Rayquaza sleeves, they're probably playing Flaffy Ray, which is a deck that I think is like okay at best. I think it's going to definitely fall flat on its face as we kind of move forward into the format, just because, I don't know, it doesn't feel like super strong. It doesn't feel like one of those decks where I'm really overwhelmed by the amount of damage it can do. I think everything has power crept to the point where it's a little bit unfortunate how much damage or HP everything has. So, I mean, I actually would have hit it, and I would have hit the energy, so it's fine, I guess. I think everything here is fine. We're just going to Poison Jab. We're just going to Poison Jab, get that 10 damage tick off in between turns. Our opponent's more than likely going to Electrify. Now, look, like with Flaffy Ray and like these like Ray decks where you have this really insane ability, cards like Rose kind of to power things up, and Flaffy, you're having to play cards like Boltund, Rose, like all these like external cards that you typically would not want to play in a deck like this that wants to just go, go, go. And at that point, you were just clouding your consistency. I was talking to a friend last night about Flaffy and how it could be paired with one prizers. But again, the problem is Urshifu. And we did test the matchup, and we did play a lot of games last night. And I do think the matchup is very, very close. Obviously, Urshifu favored, but it's very, very close. So if I can break that list for you guys, that'd be awesome as well. I'll probably try it out on stream a little bit. Quick Ball probably. Dedenne or Crobat here? Not Dedenne. If there's I mean, it is pre-rotation, I guess, still we're on ladder. But in post, all I'd have to worry about is Crobat. Drink your water, kids. Yeah. Now, this does become a free 2 prizes at any point. This also is a free 2 prizes if I can get something going. I'm not in a really scared spot because he's going to go ahead and accelerate to the Ray here. And I'm going to go ahead and get a Garbodor, a Trubbish, and then simply just Marnie us. I do give him more cards here. If I could bench that, I should have benched that Boltund, I think. I should have benched that Boltund last turn simply to give myself... What? I should have benched that Boltund last turn, I think, simply to give myself a better... There it is. I mean, I can still get it. So I will go ahead and get it. But I think switching into the Boltund and potentially sacrificing this guy to get energy onto the board is the correct move here. We are taking away with the poison here. So even if they, like, proc off our poison, at some point we can go ahead and use the first attack, the GMAX RIOT for 160, to kind of put ourselves in a better position anyway. Now, I can't afford to take that, unfortunately, because I did miss an energy card somehow. So we're going to have to draw 3. Wow, really? Okay. That's really, really unfortunate that we actually managed to miss an energy card. We'll go ahead and get the GMAX Toxtricity down. That's not good. With 12 energy in the deck, you typically think you wouldn't miss an energy there in a situation like that. But I did. I did miss an energy card. That is really, really depressing. Our opponent gets another turn of free Electrifying and EXP share. Interesting in this Rayquaza build. I guess you get to keep the fire energy if your active gets knocked out. But that just saves you 1 attachment if that. That saves you 1 attachment if that. So what I could do in this situation also is our opponent is more than likely going to be... Well, this guy's really powered up here. So we could just boss it up and try to stall, like try to make something happen here. But again, I don't have enough cards to play out of my hand. So Rose Tower comes down to just give ourselves the poison ability. And I think we just have to research just because I think I need to hit an energy this turn. Somehow we did not hit an energy this turn. Oh my god. So we can... Okay, I just bench locked myself again. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just poison Puddle and then pass. Somehow we missed an energy 2 turns in a row, which is really improbable that happens. But I don't like to take away games that are simply anomalies. I like to simply show everything because I don't want people thinking that every deck is just all like flowers and roses. I want you guys to like accurately get a representation of what's going to happen before you try out a deck. Because I don't want you guys coming in and being like, hey, Rahul, I saw your video on Skip Loom Spread and how you one-shot everything. But I was not one-shotting everything. I was actually having trouble. And I'm like, well, that happens. That'll be it. I'll just tell you it happens. Now we're gonna be pitching our second Rose also, which is really unfortunate. He hasn't done anything yet, which is like really wild to me. But if he finds a boss like in any of these turns, he's out of energy. I don't want to give him back the Rose Tower actually. I don't want to give him back the Rose Tower. He bumped it on his own accord. Hey, there are energies. We found 3 of them. Wow. There we are. Let's start electrifying. We're going to go ahead and power up our Toxtricity. Now, I understand we are staring down a very scary Ray VMAX, and I'm down 2 of my boss's orders. But if I find the 3rd boss's orders in the deck, I could bring this guy up and just kind of blow it up. This Boltund is kind of just like sitting here, not doing anything, because I think my opponent miscalculated the amount of energy they had in deck. So if they had a singular lightning, they could have been attacking me already. But they don't, it looks like. So the question is, do I have the boss in the deck? Let's go ahead and do this first. There is. It is in the deck. So that is kind of the crucial point where I don't need to attack until I find the boss. So I can also just electrify once again and power up my board. And now I have 2 powered up Toxtricities that can use GMAX RIOT for a lot of damage. He has not found a single VMAX yet. This Boltund of the active is ticking. I could give him this because this caps at exactly 200 damage. So that's not a bad idea. I could just give him this Boltund. So next turn, I think if I'm not pressured by too much more, I would just attach to the active and Boltstorm and let him take the active knockout, giving myself the option to use Dangerous Puddle into... Yeah, so Toxtricity is coming up. A switch. It looks like 200 damage probably. Now, I think my opponent should have just switched and used Spiral Burst anyway. Because... Or 180, sorry. I forgot that's the cap. Because I'm going to kill him with the Dangerous Puddle. It doesn't say my stadium in play. So I'm going to go ahead and just Dangerous Puddle. Or Poisonous Puddle or whatever. Attached to this guy. I will never give him the Rose Tower here. And I'll just go ahead and GMAX RIOT. Where I get the one shot with the 240. This is very, very strong against any Baby V Pokemon. Because all Baby Vs are capped at 220, I think, potentially. I don't think there's anything that has 230. I might be mistaken. I guess... No, Zacian's 220. I don't know what has 230, but almost everything has 220 or 230. They now get the full effect of their EXP share, and I guess the Flaffies are online. But the difference maker here is that they are stuck, I guess. Like, they're in a position where this top deck has to be really, really good for them. I mean, I get knocked out because this Boltund can come up and knock me out. And I will come back up and knock out with Boltund of my own. Actually, I think if he comes up with Boltund and knocks me out, which I think is the correct play, I'm going to go ahead and just boss up the Rayquaza and take it out. I just don't think there's a reason for me to leave that Rayquaza in play, because the VMAX is the only way I potentially lose the game. Yeah, the VMAX is the only way I potentially lose the game, so I don't really want to give him that option. Boltstorm comes through, and my guy goes down. So now we're thinking about how could I possibly lose? And given the circumstances, I can't really lose off the back of just a singular like GMAX RIOT or whatever. So we'll do this. We'll draw our cards real quick. We are down to X amount of cards. Let's go ahead and... well, the Scrapper didn't actually matter because I was going to knock him out anyway. But I'm just doing that for posterity's sake. Let's Quick Ball. Clean up our deck. There's the Eldegoss. So if anything gets knocked out here... well, I should have not benched this then if I had the Eldegoss. Yeah. But we're going to Poisonous Puddle. Because now we've benched... so that's a mistake there. Now we've bench locked ourselves effectively. And we didn't really need to put that Toxtricity down. Because we're never actually going to set up another Toxtricity. Based on how many energy are left in our deck, we just actually can't. So there was no reason for me to put this down. And I could have just put this energy onto Boltund, setting up another threatening attacker. And have the Eldegoss slot or the Kricketune slot to find my boss or Rose or something to clean up the game. Because now if I have a boss, I just win the game outright. But now he has potential to attach to Crobat, get the Ray VMAX, accelerate double with Flaffy, attach to Crobat, retreat into a Flaffy, double accelerate the Rayquaza, kind of set up this guy on the bench, which is really scary. Now, Rayquaza is still kind of scary. But what I could do is like legitimately just retreat next turn. And attack in with Boltund, as opposed to anything else, or attack in with the baby Toxtricity to not give him the answer. Balloon, Cramorant, and what's his last card in hand? I mean, he's just going to Balloon into the Flaffy, right? Or he's just going to go into the Beak Catch. That's fine. That's not fine, actually. We're in a lot of danger if that happens. Rose Tower. There's the VMAX that we were so scared of. If he finds like a supporter like Rose or something here, we are also in a lot of trouble because he can get to that one energy short of one-shotting us. So this Toxtricity would be the mistake that costs us the game, which would really suck. So a Marnie, that's not too bad. I was going to Marnie anyway. Yeah, I mean, we have some energy left in the deck. So we have the Balloon as well, so we can retreat out, attack in with Boltund, attach to the other Boltund, Poison Puddle, and chill. Like, that's going to be our whole turn. I don't think we're planning on anything else. I think we're just hoping we don't get bossed in the next turn, because if we do get bossed, we lose the game. He has to go into the Cram if he wants to beat catch, but if he goes into the Cram, also I one-shot him because he's lightning weak. I got completely blanked on that for like 2 seconds. I was like, wait, why isn't he not going into the Cram? Because that seems like an obvious play. But it's weak to lightning, so he does get knocked out by GMAX RIOT in every single situation. So he's just going to go into the VMAX, do some damage to me. Commendable. Commendable. This way also, he could win the game. Well, I was going to say, this way he could also win the game by using Cramorant next turn to snipe me. But I feel like my opponent just forgot to attack. So we're going to just go ahead and Boltstorm here. And pass? I don't... What? What just happened? If they just went ahead and used Max Burst for 180, then Toxtricity is in range of a Cramorant Spit Shot snipe. Or even just a boss retreat Boltund play. So there was a lot of, Mike CF, thank you for the follow. So there was like a lot of plays that my opponent could have made there. And I think passing was the worst one. What an interesting set of turns. I mean, I think they're just digging for the boss one-shot play, which will ultimately work out because I benched this useless Toxtricity. I need to be way more careful about bench locking myself in post-rotation. I've made like multiple mistakes off the back of that. You think the bench would fill up a lot less quickly because you don't have things like Dedenne, but bro, trust me, the bench is filling up so fast, and it's just really annoying because it's hard because you have all these support mons that are really, really good, but also you're thinking in your mind like, do I need this other guy, whatever. So if I had the foresight to think about just not having this guy, then I would have, I think, won this game on the spot. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. I presume they've got the boss in hand, so we're just going to go ahead and Bolt Storm and hope for the best. That's all we can do. We're heading for 250, which is like effectively reaching critical mass in terms of what we can do damage-wise. If he accelerates one more energy, that is the 300, that is the 320. So if he has the Flaffy plus the boss's orders, he will be able to take us out. Quick Ball indicates that there's probably an Eldegoss in the deck to get them there. One boss's orders in the discard, so there's a pretty good chance they have the other one in the deck. Or are there two in the deck? Mareep coming through. Maybe they have to Azure Pulse for it. Kricketune, draw one, Azure Pulse, pretty much see the entire deck. Could also Rose Tower here. Rose Tower first. I don't know which one they did. It doesn't tell me, I don't think, right? No, yeah, it is Rose Tower. There's the boss's orders. That was a really, really crucial misplay. I'm going to leave this game in because I want... Is that enough? On 4? Yeah. I want you guys to know that misplays like this can cost the entire game, and even then it was really, really close. So thank you guys for watching as always. You can catch more of my gameplay on the Twitch stream until post-rotation actually comes out. But until next time, remember to like, subscribe, all that stuff. See you guys later. Peace. It's Rahul, and you may know me for being Rahul.